Kael'thas sees a lot of play in the lower leagues, but it's often indecisive, focused around farming, AoE damage, and waiting for the rest of the team to clean up. What I want to teach you hopeful Kael'thas out there is how to do a 1v1 combo, and that looks something like D, W, E, Q, W. To go over that in detail, first we hit our Verdant Spheres. This makes things very easy. You're mounted up, you're on your way to the objective, there's no need to be sly or slick. You go and activate your Verdant Spheres, so on arrival, you know your first spell will be enhanced. Before we get to the W, let's take a look at Flame Strike. Verdant Spheres increases the radius of Flame Strike by 50%. This does not increase the damage. If you are Kael'thas and you are hitting the enemy team and then dancing around for 7 seconds waiting for another Verdant Sphere, your DPS is pretty low. Using terrain, using body blocks, your allies, whatever's available to you, there are few situations where you will want to empower your Flame Strike before level 7. The exact same damage can be done with a normal Flame Strike. So we lead with the Verdant Sphere and go straight into a Living Bomb. Verdant Sphere makes this ability cost no mana and have no cooldown. Now you can't cast a second Living Bomb on a target already affected by it. That's why we use the Gravity Lapse in conjunction with the Flame Strike. Gravity Lapse provides a 1-second stun. You can enhance that to pierce targets, but that's getting a little creative. We'll talk about that later. For now, we're just going to use it to guarantee the hit of the Flame Strike. So, we're empowered, we ride into lane. Now the great thing about Living Bomb is people want to get away from their allies. They will immediately bail, and the more knowledgeable they are, the more likely they are to get away from their lane minions. This will cause them to avoid giving that splash damage off. You can use that to your advantage with the Gravity Lapse. So the first Living Bomb is almost a red herring to get them to move away from others and isolate themselves. After that, you're going to follow up with the E, the Gravity Lapse, and then throw the Q right under their feet. The great thing about this is your mouse doesn't have to move. Once you have your target, they're going to be relatively easy to keep track of, and these are all just right clicks that you're performing, or in my case, a quick cast that's allowing my mouse to hover over them and immediately cast these spells. So we got the D, the W. As that ends, we throw out a Gravity Lapse, a Flame Strike under their feet, and that final Living Bomb. What I'm doing here in the background, auto-attacking, is also hugely important. These are 68 damage hits. So if you relax into it, you will actually do more damage. If I panic this cast and go W, E, Q, look how many auto-attacks I missed out on there. Not to mention I've sped it up too much, and my target is likely to run away before I can get my other W out. By really relaxing into this combo and taking advantage of even small auto attacks, you are increasing the damage of all these spells. So let one flow in between each. As you get out that first one, the W, the auto attack, E, auto attack, Q under their feet, auto attack, and then that final Living Bomb. Besides the combo having the best single target damage, it also stops you from giving away orbs. Using Q like this is only going to cause my wizard to die, and when he does, I will actually be giving this orb to Gazlowe. I have no way to get out here and access that thing safely anymore. Instead, I could do 2 Living Bombs and actually restrict Gazlowe's options, as well as have the focus to hunt him down and do a combo when I know I have a hold of him. The other benefit to doing this method is that you lead with your free spell, so this isn't going to affect my overall mana. I need to keep it high for the objective. Kael'thas runs on mana after all. So if I lead in and this Living Bomb doesn't entice me to continue my combo, I've already made a minimal investment here. I can also use my free Living Bomb to affect the battlefield. Maybe I want to get Gazlowe away from his front line and cause a situation. Maybe I want to cause him to have an issue with running away, and throwing that fire on that back minion will allow him a positioning error. And at any point during this, I see an opportunity, as the lane minions fall or what have you, to do the full combo on him. I'm ready, and I've lost minimal mana to this point. Now that you have your 1v1 combo in mind, it's time to talk about when you break it. And just like Kael'thas, this is about power spikes. At what level are you able to do new things? The reason why most players have evolved this kind of lazy flame strike style is convection. It's exciting. You are damaging hitting heroes to get stacks that will increase your overall damage. And should you be able to get to the end, you will be granted permanent damage on your flame strike. Now, the first question to ask yourself is merely a personal one. Can you handle the bummers of losing this? Will you tilt, or will you be unable to participate to the fullest if you feel like you are unsafe all the time and can't take a risky move, which it takes to win, by even going out the door? Will you lose these stacks and stop participating? If yes, do not take this talent. There is nothing wrong with Fel Infusion. It's fine. It's fine training wheels. What I'd really like you to think about is which map you're on, and do you even have a chance to complete your convection. Mana Addict, you collect regen globes, you get some bonus mana for it, which is nice, but no mana regeneration. So you have a bigger tank of gas, but you're still burning all your fuel. After gathering 20 of these globes, activate an Arcane Barrier, equal to your maximum mana value for 4 seconds. This is a late game talent. Depending on your map, there's several good excuses for convection. Battlefield of Eternity, Braxis, Haunted Mines, all 2-lane maps. In a 2-lane map situation, the split is almost always 1-4. With 4 people in 1 lane, it's pretty easy to farm up convection. When we look at late game maps like Infernal Shrines, Dragonshire, Cursed Hollow, Tomb of the Spider Queen, these games go so long that your death will dramatically cut your DPS. Increasing your damage with convection will not have as big of an impact in these late game matches because it is a set amount. It is better to survive and not be out of the fight for 45 seconds to a minute rather than getting a little bit of bonus damage on your opponents. At level 4, I'd like you to pick Netherwind. Increase the range of Gravity Lapse by 30%, and if it hits a hero, you're refunded the mana. Now, you've already got some mana issues on this wizard, but the real power is the range. Here, I have normal Gravity Lapse, which moves from point A to point B in a set amount of time. Upon taking Netherwind and increasing that range, we are actually increasing the speed of Gravity Lapse, because it has to cover this whole distance in the same amount of animation time. So it's actually moving faster, making it harder to dodge. Upon level 4, you can now stun tanks. You will get your mana back, and stunning the tank always interrupts the plan they had. If particular Diablo or any sort of dive tank is heading towards you, a simple Gravity Lapse to ward them off will ruin whatever engagement they had in mind. The players on their side will need to reposition, maybe they overinvested, and it is the perfect time to land one of these stuns. And now that it's not costing you any mana, it is not a bad idea at any time to interrupt the plan the enemy has. While Sun King's Fury can be very seductive in the lower leagues due to enemy mistakes, Burned Flesh is why we're able to skip Convection. Burned Flesh gives you an 8% giant killer at level 7 if you hit 2 heroes. And who better to hit than a tank and the guy standing right next to him? And right now we're in a double tank meta. This is a huge increase in your DPS. This is why finally at level 7, I will let you augment your Q, increasing the flame strike area to hit multiple heroes. Both Kael'thas heroics are great. Pyroblast has a longer cooldown and has many individual interactions in the game, so I'd like you to pass it for now. What I want to talk about is Phoenix and the amount of DPS you can do over the course of the game. This is a 60-second cooldown, meaning after level 10, you will be dead for the majority of this cooldown if someone gets you. So always fire your Phoenix on your way out. In fact, an important philosophy with such short cooldowns is do not baby it. The more Phoenixes you cast per game equal higher DPS. Pyromaniac works perfect with your single target combo. If you're already planning on leading with living bombs, this will give you the greatest edge in the team fight. One of the things it also provides you is the DPS and reliability to quickly burn through an ogre or smaller merc camp. Written out and dodging the autos off the giants, it'll look something like this. D, W, W, Flame Strike. Now they're standing up, so we need to start walking. And during this time, we'll get out some auto attacks with a little bit of stutter step. Back into the D, W, W, Flame Strike, and then we just do it again. We got one more already ready to go. We can finish it out. At 16, Fury of the Sunwell is one of your largest power spikes, and in fact, over the entire course of the game, the enemy has been playing against you in a certain style, dodging the opening and then repositioning back. This power spike is really about positioning and ruining it. Think of Fury of the Sunwell like a zombie wall. It can occupy an area, stopping people from interacting with that area, and if they don't, they're dead. In this case, Verdant Sphere is my Q and can use this gap to basically say, do not enter for that extended period of time. This is the same thing I might do on the enemy gate as well. If this team fight is happening in the lane, I might join it by running out in front and throwing a Flame Strike on the escape way, so they have to make that difficult choice. Are we going to use that escape? Do we walk through the Flame Strike and take that damage? And also in particular, comboed with our level 7, the Burned Flesh, are we able to get 2 tanks or even 2 individuals at all inside of that explosion? In addition to your new zoning powers, you now can take larger merc camps at 16 with Fury of the Sunwell. 2 things about this. First, you have the Wizard minion, who upon waking up and being attacked is going to provide 20 armor to the camp, so we need to make sure we get rid of him first. Second, these melee knights in the front are going to collapse, so we want to let them collapse early on, then put out the Flame Strike so we know where they're going to be during it. And it's pretty much the exact same combo we used earlier. We would just want to make sure that we walk our way over, focusing on this wizard here. And I'm actually going to start down so that I can kite these knights and make sure they're not connected with me all the time. If they're all connected, the longer melee is connected, the more DPS it's going to do. If we kite our melees, they're not able to hit us. Taking a camp would look something like this. Same combo, D, W, W, Q. But we're going to focus down this guy. Here comes that spell armor. And now that these guys have started to settle, we put out that Flame Strike right into the next D, W, W. Wait for them to collapse. And another Flame Strike. With that second one under your feet, you're able to bust through it in no time. Level 20 really has 2 options for you. Master of Flames is of course a great pick in the lower leagues where people are going to spread these around and make mistakes. But as of level 7, we've already given you a focus towards dealing damage to 2 heroes at a time when you cast your Flame Strike. And Flamethrower enhances that and makes it easier with the bonus range. Hitting 2 heroes decreases the cooldown by 4 seconds, giving you only a 3-second Flame Strike window. This will throw people off, and this also stacks on top of your Fury of the Sunwell that's putting out those 2 at the same time. As with any level 20 ability, it will take a lot of practice to get good at it because we play so infrequently for extended periods of time after level 20. But here's an idea of the normal Flame Strike range, and then when we enhance it with the Flamethrower. It's not huge, but it's enough to get you that poke that you might need to complete an objective perhaps, but also to have a safer job doing the zoning we just talked about, using the space around you. And it's the exact same thing you're going to be doing with your Phoenix too. Use your Flame Strikes to deny area, and use your Phoenix to deny area, and because it's very loud, very visual, you can use your Phoenix to encourage your allies to fight. On a final note, let's talk about what you can do with an enhanced Verdant Sphere's Gravity Lapse. This is, of course, really cool to stun 3 heroes all standing in a nice, pretty straight line. That's not always going to happen. The real opportunity you have in every game to use an enhanced Gravity Lapse is to pierce minions. Gravity Lapse goes through 2 targets and can still hit a hero. So in a situation where you might be having someone ready to gank, waiting in a side bush, you can do a really surprise move on them by firing through the minions. In this situation here, I got 2 little minions right there in front of Arthas. And as he walks up, I can fire through him. Here's 2, and still hit him. And that's a complete surprise. He thought he was safe. Enemies are going to stand inside their minions anyway to avoid being hit by skill shots, as well as your personal stun. And this can be a real surprise factor to the enemy when they didn't think you could actually land a stun on them.